Today, I've got a really neat project coming to you. This is a board that I got from the thrift store, painted it black, and just a normal frame also from the thrift store. Now this here is a metal drawer pull. I got that at Hobby Lobby in their clearance section. That is a tart tin and a second tart tin. Both were thrifted. I would encourage you, go to Hobby Lobby. They've got some really neat stuff in their clearance for their hardware. Really great prices too. Like just everything's under like 50 cents. I came up with some really great deals with that. But I'm going to remove the cardboard for this, and then I'm going to take my box cutter and just cut off that backing. I need this to be flush because I'm going to be adhering the frame to the board. Next, I'm going to give this frame a couple of coats of black acrylic paint. Next, I'm going to paint the hardware black. And like I said before, I got this at the Hobby Lobby in their clearance section. I was so shocked at the prices that I kind of wanted to share it with you guys. They were actually, not even $1. They were not even 50 cents. They were less than 50 cents each. And they had some pretty great designs. Of course, they were all just one-offs. They weren't like matching sets that you could use, but they work great for assemblage pieces and things like this. So I grabbed a bunch and I have them now in my stash. I'm going to go ahead and give both of the tart tins also a coat of black paint. I would clear coat these at the end, and that will give it a lot more durability. I've got this piece of upholstery fabric sample that I got at the thrift store. I got a bunch of them. They're really cool. And so instead of using the one whole piece there off to the right, I don't want to use that. I'll use that for a different project. I'm going to just use this smaller piece here. And so I want to figure out where it's going to be best suited in the frame, and even I think I like this here. I'm just going to take a marker, mark this off, and cut it out. So I'm going to use the cardboard from the frame as a backing. I'm just going to start gluing down one side, and then I'm going to shape some fiber fill for the middle because I want to be able to use this like a pin cushion. So I've got my fiber fill. I'm just going to kind of shape it like a square. Definitely I'm going to leave some margin around the edge for gluing. Okay, so now that I've got that pretty much figured out where I want it to go, I had some slight adjusting that I had to do, but I'm going to throw in that second piece of cardboard just to bring this whole backing to level. And so now I'm just going to kind of adjust it just a little bit there. I am going to trim a little bit of the cardboard off, and then I've got to get those corners cut so I can fold them in so they're nice and flush. All right, so let's get these edges folded in. I'm going to hot glue them down. And I do end up putting the original frame backing on this. I didn't plan on doing it, but I really needed this to come to a level surface. That way, when I add it to the board, I will not only have more gluing space or surface space for gluing, but also when I'm actually using this, I won't push through to the back. It'll have a nice solid backing all the way to the board. So you can see there where I put that original backing back in there. I'm adding some E6000 and a little bit of hot glue for a quick temporary hold. Well, it's not a temporary hold. The hot glue will definitely hold this, but you get the idea. It helps the E6000. It holds while the E6000 is drying. But, okay, so I got to get this on as straight as possible. And then I'm going to add the hardware. Once again, guys, this is the reason why I'm making this is because I have cats and they're always in my craft room, and I always try to keep them away from my sewing stuff because you know how they like string, and I'm always worried that they're gonna get into my needle and thread and like hurt themselves. So I was using a sewing box for a long time, which is great, but I wanted something a little bit more accessible. So this pin keep actually is going to be hanging on the wall behind my my desk where my chair is at. So anytime I need my needle and thread for sewing buttons or whatever I'm doing, I can just turn around and reach and grab a needle and thread off of that pin cushion. So that essentially is a pin cushion. It is a wall mounted pin keep. And you know, I love Victorian, I love dark stuff, and so it's kind of a cross between Victorian and early American folk art, and so I really like it. It's got a lot of great practical use, and it's pretty to look at as well. So I'm going to be hanging this in my craft room. I'm very excited about it. It'll be a quick, accessible way to keep my pins out of reach so my cats don't get into them. Okay, so I had to do a little cleanup here on the gold rub and buff. It went in places that I didn't want, so I had to clean that up. Okay, on to project number 2. These are more of the leaves that I had from my garland video. If you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I bought some of these leaves at the Dollar Tree. They came on a pick of white fall leaves. I just clipped them off and painted them with a brown acrylic paint with just a little bit of black. And so I didn't want to show you guys that process all over again, but they're very, very easy to make. And so what I'm doing now is I'm taking a needle and I'm just poking a hole through the end near the base with some thin florist wire. I'm using black just so it kind of blends into my project. Now I'm not making another garland. What I'm doing is I'm making a wreath to go above the mantle, just to kind of give some extra height to my Halloween decorations. But it is the same exact process as making that garland. Instead of hanging the garland on the mantle, I'm going to be wrapping around a vine wreath that I'm going to be showing you how I'm making it here in just a little bit. Okay, so here is the vine. I couldn't pan out any farther, so I'm just going to show you what I can. It's really basic. I got these vines from my backyard. I believe they're from the wild raspberry. They're wild raspberry vines. And so my fiance had pulled them off of some trees because they can get they can grow quite a bit. And so he pulled those off. We had them in a pile. I grabbed a couple of them and just wrapped them in a circle and just wire them. So I got the shape that I wanted. It's very wild and natural and wild. And so now that I have that leaf wired garland that I made, I'm not going to wrap it around because I didn't want to lose any surface space. I only made so many feet of this garland. I didn't want to make a huge piece. So I'm kind of setting them on the front in places because of this. Now I did try to wrap it there and I didn't like it, so I undid it. But you can really just set this down on these vines. They almost stay anywhere that you put them. They're very, very easy to use, very user-friendly. I enjoyed working with them a lot. But let's see. So I'm okay. So this is crazy. Hello, this is me. I don't know why I didn't record this in person, but I didn't. That's fine. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want these leaves to go. I haven't even tied these down or twisted them or anything. I literally just laid them on this vine. And because of all the little branches and sticks and things, the wire just sits on the wreath really easily. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just pulling the leaves forward and kind of bringing them off of the wreath in certain parts to give it some depth and interest. And you'll see more of that in the end screen when I show you my final result. But I'm really, really happy with this, guys. I made this for literally pennies on the dollar, I'm telling you. And so, okay, so here it is on the wall above the mantle. It matches the rest of my Halloween decorations. And look at the depth and visual interest that this gives. Literally a couple of picks from the Dollar Tree, some acrylic paint and wire, and you have yourself some decorations.